Hey all, Heretic here. Today in the Battlegrounds, we're talking about Murlocs in Season 8. We're going to talk about Murlocs coming, going, changing, and all the fun trinkets we'll see. Let's jump right into it. All right, as always, let us start with the minions that are leaving. Now, typically, I'm like, you might miss some of these, but I don't think you're going to. Let's just jump in. First, we have Rockpool Hunter leaving. Well, Rockpool Hunter has been here since the beginning. Rockpool Hunter hasn't changed, but finally Rockpool Hunter is gone. This used to be one of the more powerful one drops in the game. It is certainly not aged very well, it turns out, especially with some of these other changes we have. Wow, poor Rockpool, their time is over. Also departing us is the very hungry Winifred. I didn't hate this minion, I didn't love it. The whole idea behind it buffing something in your hand was fun, but it being at tier 2 and you getting it usually on turn 3 and 4 means you have to hold a card, so you're almost always losing and the buff never feeling very good. I only really liked this when I played heroes that would, let me start with cards, say, locked in my hand or frozen in some manner just so I can't use them so they could get the buff, then I could play them. But even then, that didn't make me want to buy this. Murgle Mark II also will departing us. There definitely were some fun niche boards you could build that this would work at. Get a bunch of reborns, a bunch of death rattles early, you get this super fast, and yeah, you really could scale a little bit and have some fun with it, but it didn't do very well. Obviously, the later the game got, it quickly fell off power scale wise, and just wasn't really that interesting an effect for me, so I don't really mind this going. And our poor friend Murloc, again, sent back to the deep. Murloc was once one of the most powerful cards in the game and just comboed so well with Murlocs and just was insane and really has fallen off dramatically. This thing, at some point, people wanted it on tier 6 and it was still overpowered. And then, they knocked it down to tier 4 when it came back and it still wasn't really competitive. And it just never feels great for the way the game has changed. This just shows you folks that that there's such a thing as power creep, and as the game ages, cards that were once powerful no longer can even be really relevant anymore. Next up, we have the returning and or changed minions, and this is another good example of power creep. We're going to start with the tier 1 3/2 salt scale honcho. After you play a Murloc, give a friendly Murloc other than it +1 health. Yeah, you heard me, the tier 1 salt scale honcho. Another one of those cards that comes and goes and has now managed to fall all the way to tier 1. Silliness. I don't hate it being back, but for a tier 1 minion, there are certainly better ones, which feels weird to say, but we'll see how it plays out. I could see myself having this on the board. Also returning, we have the tier 2 5/2 Murloc Mercules. Whenever this kills a minion, give a minion in your hand +2/+2. There definitely are some fun, silly builds I have seen with this card working, and I'm looking forward to their return. They're very niche and situational, but when they work, you do have a really good time with it. So it'll be interesting to see Mercules back again. I did like Mercules. I'm not sure how well he's going to have aged, but I'm willing to try it. All right, we've seen what is leaving and what is changing and returning. Let's look at what's new. And yeah, we kind of already know this one, but tier 5 4/3 Demon Murloc Depraved Felfin. After you discover a minion, gain the stats of the other options. I've heard lots and lots of combos, ideas from people on how to make this card broken, and yeah, you're right, there are a lot, but definitely the shining example still to be held up is going to be Mr. Bigglesworth. When you are Bigglesworth and you are offered just gold cards that are over 100 stats each, and you're like, oh, I can only pick one, rejoice. Because while you can only pick one, you're still gonna get the stats of the other one from Depraved Felfin. This is going to be a silly, fun card that I'm looking forward to. I wonder if Bigglesworth is going to be banned from Murloc demon lobbies going forward. I think that's the first time Bigglesworth has the potential to be banned from anything. Next up, we have the tier 6 6/6 Murloc Murglin Burglar. After you play a Murloc, give a friendly Murloc and a minion in your hand +6/6. Huh. Do Murloc boards like to keep things in their hand to gain value from this buff? Wonder. This is obviously going to be a decent card. You're going to put it on your board and you're going to cycle like crazy. This is going to be very interesting. It can buff itself because it's give a friendly minion, so it can buff itself. It can buff whatever pair you're holding onto your hand or card you're summoning out. This has a lot of potential for fun shenanigans. I mean, I already can feel myself wanting to play this. I want to have a brand. I want to have Primal Fin cycling. I want to have this thing just chunking some stats on my board and into my hand. All right, that's it. We're done with the minions. Let's move on to the turn 6 lesser trinkets. We're going to start with the 1 gold Nurglish phrase book. After you play a minion, give the leftmost minion in your hand +3/+3. I do like that it's a minion. You don't have to have a Murloc in your hand. You don't have to play a Murloc. It's anything. That feels pretty good. You can buff whatever you want. There definitely is some potential for shenanigans here with this. I like this. This should be good fun. For 2 gold, we have the Twin Sky Lanterns. When you have space, summon a copy of the first minion you summoned each combat. Well, let us think about Murlocs. Now, if we're talking about, say, beasts or undead, X, you're summoning lots of crap. And that's the key, crap. When you're summoning minions with Murlocs, now we're having a whole new conversation. Oh no, it might be an 800 you summon one of. Oh look, when you have space, summon a copy of the first minion you summon each combat. So now you get another 800. Now mind you, you're getting this at turn 6. Obviously this isn't going to apply to your turn 6 minion in your board. If you are summoning an 800, congratulations, first place. But once you get later in the game, turn 10, 12, you definitely can be doing that. This one with Murlocs definitely can work. For 4 gold, we have the Belcher Portrait. Gain an operatic Belcher. Whenever a friendly minion loses Venomous, it gains +5/+5 permanently. I don't know how much I care about the stat buff increase. This one I feel mixed about because you're getting a Belcher, right? Great, I get a Venom Murloc. Obviously, this is good. It's going to Death Rattle. It's going to give another Murloc Venom. Perfect. The +5/+5. It almost feels like they didn't know what to give it. They're like, well, how do we entice Murloc players? They're like, well, I guess we could give it a 5/5 buff because nothing else really matters. So I don't know if this matters that much, but a little buff. I mean, at turn 6, it'll matter, but at turn 12, you're not going to care about that 5/5 at all. For 4 gold, we have the Rockin' Music Box. At the end of each turn, get a random battle cry minion. Well, I mean, you're cycling, you're a Murloc board. It's fun. I don't know how much I love this one because it's a random battle cry minion. There's a lot of battle cries that will do absolutely nothing for you if you are, say, playing Murlocs. But if you've got a brand, you're certainly going to get some value from that. So it has potential at least. We'll have to wait and see and play how it plays out, but also what other trinkets are offered to you because this could be really good just because the others are crap. And hey, if you're having a good time and you're enjoying these, please consider coming back. Obviously, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But hey, we're on Twitch, we're on Discord. We're very active as a community as a whole, so if you want, take a look down in the comments. There's links to all that good stuff there. Consider hanging around. We are a very laid-back community, which is more about having fun than trying super sweaty hard. It's important to win, I get that. It's also, it's a game. We want to have fun. Being number 1 would be amazing, but you know what would be more amazing? Just having a good time more consistently. Thank you. All right, that's it. We're out of the lesser trinkets. It's time to move into the greater trinkets, the turn 9 trinkets. Are they going to be that much greater than the lesser? I'll let you be the judge of that, but my humble opinion is that they are at least a little bit too significantly better, but they all kind of feel in flavor, so I do like them. Ready? Let's jump right in. We'll start with the weaker ones. We're going to start with 3 gold, the Shaman Prayer Beads. After you buy 2 Battle Cry minions, get a random Battle Cry minion. Once again, going to be casting a lot of battle cries. Typically as a Murloc player, that means generating extra ones is not bad. Don't know how I feel like it because it's random. It still feels like it's off a little bit, but if it was Discover, it would be broken. So let's see how it plays out. For 4 gold, we have the Belcher Portrait. Get an operatic Belcher. Whenever a friendly minion loses Venomous, it gains 15/15. Well, I kind of feel the same way as I did about the other one with this. You're getting the Belcher, which is good. But the 15/15 stats to a Murloc board permanently, I mean, really, if you think about it, it is a 30/30 buff because the first one that dies, 15/15. Next one that dies, 15/15. So that it's not a bad amount of stats, but as a Murloc board, those stats don't matter as much, but that's in the That's with the mindset of the existing meta. Maybe in this meta, it'll be more relevant. For 2 gold, we have the Essence of Dreams. Get a Dreamer's Embrace. At the start of each turn, get another. Well, Dreamer's Embrace lets you target a battle cry and trigger it. Hey, do you have a Primal Fin on your board? Is it a gold one? You just keep it there? Because if every turn you can trigger it, I would argue whether or not you have a Young Murkai, it might be worth keeping that and just triggering it every time with this. Definitely a decent one, and at 2 gold, pretty good value there. For 1 gold, we have the Nurglish Phrasebook. After you play a minion, give the leftmost minion in your hands +6/+6. Murloc boards, do we like to cycle cards? Do we like to hold cards in our hand? Do we like even more stats than we did in the earlier part of the game? Yes. This one is just a straight up upgrade to the lesser trinket, and it is pretty good still. Imagine if you have both of these every time you play a minion. +9/+9. That can scale pretty damn fast. If you get a brand and you find lots of battle cries, ouch, you are putting together a lot of stats. Your opponents better be going scam. For 2 gold, Twin Sky Lanterns. When you have space, summon 2 copies of the first minion you summoned each combat. Well, once again, straight up upgrade from the earlier one, but now you're summoning double the minions. I don't know, do we have like an 800 in our hand? Do we want to summon 2 of them? I do. Here we go. Now you're going to summon 1 from the bat skill, and then you're going to summon 2 more from this. Thank you very much. No complaints. Next up, we have the 2 gold Tiny Fin Onesie. Start of combat, your leftmost minion gains the stats of the highest health minion in your hand. I'm going to keep using this as a reference, but oh, do you have an 800 health minion in your hand? Because whatever minion's at your leftmost is gaining its stats, and that feels pretty good. Now, unfortunately, that is usually the minion we refer to as the bumper minion, and it is definitely going to be a monster of a bumper minion. Your opponent's going to know it's coming, so that does make this a little vulnerable, but at the same time, some boards just won't have much they can do about it. You're going to have that extra giant minion that they're going to go like, oh, crap, I hope the hits go well, otherwise I'm losing this fight. So, Tiny Fin Onesie, I think is going to be very good in some boards, in some lobbies, and useless in others, because there's going to be someone seeing you in the final when it's just the top 2. They're going to see you have this, and they're going to be a taunted Leroy waiting for you, just waving, going, hey. And finally, it's hard not to finish with this, but for 1 gold, the Bronzebeard Portrait. Get a brand Bronzebeard. Your brand Bronzebeards are both Murlocs and dragons. And folks, that's a tongue twister. Try reading that one really fast a couple times. There is far too many BB words in there. Just stumbling out of my mouth does not work. Wow. This one is obvious value because, hey, I need Bran. I'm playing Murlocs or apparently dragons. And hey, they can, now that Bran can gain the stats, which makes me a little sad in a way because Bran's always the minion I would taunt. I would always keep the Bran taunted so it could eat up the Bramble Witch or Leroy's and whatever's trying to smack it down my board dead. Now, I don't want him to kill this because it's probably going to get a bunch of stats on it. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, how it plays out, but how many games have you played Murloc and you've gone, all I need is a Bran and I'm unstoppable? Well, imagine on turn 9, you get a Bran for 1 gold. No rolling, no nothing, and it counts as a Murloc and a dragon. Amazing card. Way, way, way too good in my opinion, but who am I going to complain, right? But at 1 gold, shit, I would pay 10 gold for this thing if I knew I was getting it and I knew I wanted to play Murlocs. If I was playing Flurgle, for instance, on turn 9, I'd pay 10 and not care. That's it, folks. That's Murlocs. That's everything. That's all the stuff that's going to be coming, leaving, changing, all the trinkets. What do you think? Are you excited? Do you think Murlocs are going to be strong? I feel like the new Murloc is interesting. The change stuff is not bad. The stuff that left wasn't bad for Murlocs. Murlocs haven't been in a great place lately, but there's some potential here. And with the right trinkets, obviously Murlocs can go nuts because there's some good synergy in there. So there's some nice potential for that. Kind of interested in seeing how they work. How do you feel? Let me know in the comments. Tell me if you think Murlocs are gonna be a threat or if they're just not, you're not feeling them. I still feel like the biggest problem for the Murloc tribe is Primal Fin on tier 5. You move Primal Fin to tier 4, they're crazy powerful. You leave it on 5 and they still feel like they're fighting desperately for a place to me. I don't know, I kind of thought there'd be a portrait Primal Fin lookout, every turn get a Primal Fin, like make it so it can't be tripled or something like that. That might have been too good still, because then you also find a brand, of course, but just something along those lines. That felt like a greater trinket to me, but I don't make them, I just report on them. Thanks for watching all. I hope you had a good time. Hope you learned a few things. I hope to see you in the Battlegrounds. Catch you later.